Hi, Melissa Storm here. I'm going live with the first of the mini award rewards for my backers on the Facebook Ads Kickstarter. I have a deal where every 25 backers alternating with the main stretch goals, I will post a secret mini lesson here in the group, which I'll share as a replay in the backer updates so that people don't have to wait for the campaign to end to start learning. And hopefully to show you I know my stuff. So here I am in sunny Alaska, Friday morning at 10:30 a.m. I am surrounded by my dogs and my fantasy cosplay props because I'm currently writing fantasy. And I decided to start by just spending 10 minutes to talk about what's going well, what's not going well, and what I'm excited about with my current Kickstarters. So you may or may not know that I'm running the nonfiction course guidebook combo about how to run Facebook ads to Kickstarter, but I'm also running a fantasy Kickstarter for my pen name Luna Ryder called The Wheel Deal. So these overlap, they have the same run period, and there are some things I've done exactly identical with the campaigns, and there's some things that are very different. And this is going to be a dual case study that I'm going to talk about in the course just to talk about how the two differ. For example, in the Kickstarter campaign about Kickstarter, which is confusing every time I talk about it, in the one that you've probably pledged or are about to pledge when you see this video and are reminded to do so, I have a single tier. It's $50. There is just an amazing amount of content for people who learn via video or want to see the steps written down. It's a kind of a dual learning model. There's going to be a community aspect with 3 months of live updates and support. Just one tier though, it's priced at $50, and I'm encouraging everyone to participate to unlock community achievements. So as we hit those stretch goals, which I've rebranded as community achievements, everybody gets more stuff. So I add new modules, I do things like these mini lessons. I have a leaderboard, which I'm really excited about for backers who want to share. It's kind of like a way of doing an affiliate within Kickstarter. I give them a custom link, and whoever sends the most backers to the campaign with their link wins prizes. So one of those prizes is that I'll do the ads for their campaign. Usually I'm a minimum of 2,500 to hire. My client list is super locked down, so this is an opportunity to get expert help and not have to pay for it. I'm going to have other prizes like consults and audits and things that I'll be revealing in the stretch rewards as we go. But I'm really working there to drive engagement and community participation because I noticed early on that a lot of my backers were coming from notifications because an author would back my campaign and then other authors who follow them or who have backed previous campaigns see that they've backed mine and then they come over. And that's something I don't see with my fiction campaigns. So since this is my first nonfiction, I'm really leaning into what's different. How can we work here? On the fiction side, I have an extremely complex and odd campaign. Truly, my pen name Luna Ryder would not exist or be possible without Kickstarter because it's like I want to test my skills as a marketer by creating the least marketable books possible. I like to say that I have ADHD, and I like to say that autism is in control of my business and ADHD is in control of my writing. So it makes sense why those are so uneven because I make really weird decisions as part of being true to my inner artist who's a kind of a flake versus my business side is very stick to it and gets the things done. But both are truly me. So it's fun to see these two play off of each other and work against each other. So for the wheel deal, that is a fantasy with a sentient cheese, an autistic gnome, and a divine LitRPG. It is really, really, really weird. I also have 6 tiers instead of one. They start at $7 for just the plain ebook, and they go all the way up to $2,222 for the opportunity to be deified in my interconnected fantasy universe. So readers would become the central deity in the next series and the quest giver. They would get a unique origin story, a custom illustrated portrait, and a ton of physical goods as well. So nobody has backed the crazy level, but I have had a few people back my $555 tier. So one thing I think that is working well there is that the bonkers 2000 plus tier is kind of price anchoring the $500 tier. So that's kind of neat. I also started with just a few add-ons because I wanted to keep things simple, but I've been getting a lot of requests from backers to add more stuff. So at this point, like 15 to 20 add-ons, it's kind of ridiculous. So what I've been doing with those is I'm really conscious about where the prices are falling so they show in the order I want. Another difference between the two campaigns is that the nonfiction is digital only. I didn't want to deal with shipping and physical, especially since I'm in Alaska. It makes shipping harder. Everything takes longer and costs more. And also, like, to me, it's just weird. Like, why would I want a business book that's going to be out of date in 6 months anyways? I don't want that in print. I want digital. I want it to be updated live, which is what I'm doing for backers. On the cheese side, the fiction side, I have the book in ebook, extended ebook with annotations and bonus content. I have special edition paperback. I have duet narrated audio. I have a party card game for socially awkward people, printed, and then a print and play version. And I can tell you right now, I'm going to lose money on this Kickstarter because of the current shipping situation and the fact I live in Alaska. So even though I have a great team who's working really hard to try to get me reasonable shipping rates, I'm probably going to take a bath. And usually taking a bath is a good thing, but in this case, like, it's not great. I'm going to lose a ton of money on the shipping problem, but it's a thing I have learned, and I will have a choice to potentially send everything to the lower 48, which will be less expensive, and beg a friend to warehouse my books and let me visit for fulfillment. So that is an ongoing situation. That's quite stressful, but you roll with the punches. Other things that are happening right now are that obviously there was a Kickstarter strike that had been going on for a few weeks by the time I launched these campaigns on October 29th. It just ended yesterday, which means tech support will work again, and some of the features that have been slowing me down, like custom links breaking, especially when you pair the UTM tracking tag with a custom like linking directly to a specific pledge, that would break. There were some formatting issues and other problems that, because the staff was on strike, were just not fixable. So the fact that they're back is amazing. Yay for workers' rights, and yay for a functioning site for creators and backers. That's all good stuff. Obviously, there's still a government shutdown in effect. Last I heard 2 minutes ago, maybe it changed since I started the video, because that's the current state we live in. But that's also causing people to really clamp down and tighten spending because of that uncertainty, because there are people who haven't been paid for a while. So it's making Kickstarter a lot more difficult. And November is a difficult season for campaigns anyways. Usually like August, September, October is a really great time, and the spring is a really great time. But in general, for any form of e-commerce, as you get closer to Christmas, it gets more competitive. People are more judicious about where they spend their dollars. So we have a lot of compounding effects that are making it difficult. And a thing I found early on with my two campaigns is that the nonfiction one, that felt like a must-have. Like if my backers are thinking, oh, I'm going to run a Kickstarter, I must understand ads, I must do the best job possible. Versus on the fiction side, like, oh, here's a book about talking cheese. Cool. Not strictly necessary when I need to spend money on food and medicine. So definitely needs versus wants are in play right now. Also, because my tiers start at $7 on the fiction side, even with high converting ads, the fiction ads are converting at a higher rate, but because the pledges can be so low, the ROAS is worse. That's the return on ad spend. So every now and then I get a backer drop $600, and that helps make up the return on ad spend for how many people are choosing the $7 level. And for me, this is an issue I walked into and one I chose because getting those backers into my ecosystem, since it's all interconnected fantasy and I build the campaigns on top of each other with previous campaign goodies in the stretch goals, it works for me. Like, I love having that backer commit. Even if I'm losing money on that specific backer, to me, it's worth it. But for other authors, it might not be. It might be really expensive. Another thing, even though I'm over 10 minutes, I want to let you guys know that the biggest mistake that I made, not that happened to me based on strikes and shutdowns, the biggest mistake I have made on my 2 live campaigns is I set them up and then I walked away for 8 days to go to Author Nation and Reader Nation in Vegas, where I was so busy, I didn't have time to update my backers. I didn't have time to even check on my ads. I just let them run and was spending money, and things were happening. And the launch momentum I should have had by showing up and doing the work, it just was not possible. And that meant that once I got home, I had to play catch up to get that momentum again. And I am seeing it now. I'll show you guys my charts and the graph of how the income is going up. I'm now starting to hit that stride again with the algorithm, but if I wouldn't have lost that momentum, I would be doing much better. And I also would have a better return on ad spend if I was paying attention. So there's one lesson is when you set up ads, you do have to look at them and change them. Right now, in the age of the Facebook Andromeda algorithm, Meta, which is Facebook's parent company, also does Instagram. They want creative diversity. So a thing I'm doing is I have videos, I have static images, I have flex, which means letting Facebook shift things around, like choose this text or choose that image. And there's something similar called dynamic creative. They're sunsetting. Flex is the new thing they're pushing. I'm running carousel ads. I'm working on getting GIFs set up. I'm doing lots and lots and lots of different things to keep feeding it fresh content. But the thing is right now, and truly in every campaign I've ever run for Kickstarter, usually the very first ad I set up is the one that makes the most money. But it wouldn't be able to do so without feeding new content to keep it learning and to keep the algorithm engaged. So I will be breaking that all down in the course, and I will show you examples of the ads that were big hits, ones that were duds. Another mistake is I didn't catch a typo on one of my graphics for the nonfiction campaign. So it's a beautiful testimonial and showing some of my best work. And this author is praising me and saying that she had a goal of $10,000 that was funded in the first 4 hours. And she was so impressed and she called me magical, but the graphic says it was $10. So I have people making fun of me on the ad, and I tried to turn the ad off, but because it's getting good engagement, it still keeps boosting even where I don't have spend going to it. I am like trying to figure out where the heck can I turn this off, because on my side it's off and I only see it when I'm logged in to my profile. And so I'm responding to comments as my profile instead of the sponsoring page, and I'm kind of playing off of it and saying like, whoops, proof of humanity. I'm a real person, and we make mistakes, and that, Facebook keeps us on our toes. And I think it's getting me backers. This really embarrassing mistake where I'm like, I am an expert, you should listen to me. And then I make a very egregious mistake. So when things like that happen, as long as the tone is kind and you can lean into it and you can do customer service in real time, that can be an opportunity. I would have rather not had this opportunity because it's stressing me out. But on the fiction side, I've had some, because I have queer rep in my books, I've had some homophobic hate on my ads, and things like that I turn off. I don't want people to see that, because I want people to feel safe in my worlds. And even if I can be very kind, I don't want that in anybody's feed. So once that happens, it's out. Like, I don't even just hide the comment, it's gone, because Facebook's algorithm is going to learn that people who make that type of comments are good people to serve that ad to, and I'll just label it dead and move on. So there's a lot of interesting parallels between the two campaigns, and I'll be diving in really deep in the course about that. So this was my quick kind of just state of the Kickstarters and letting you know what I'm doing, what I'm testing, what to expect more of. You have unlocked 4 main stretch goals, and I think 3 or 4 of the secret small video stretch goals. So this was the first. In my next one, I'm going to tally the results of the polls in the group and the comments on the Kickstarter backer updates, and I will do one with a screen share showing you workflows of how to do specific things. So that is coming up next. If you have questions about anything I said here, I would love for you to go to the Kickstarter, and I'm going to post this replay as soon as I have it downloaded. I would love you to go there and leave your comment there rather than the group. I would really appreciate it because that feeds the Kickstarter algorithm and helps me get more backers. So that is a favor I ask from you. I am making all of my updates public, so you do not have to back the campaign in order to comment. I wish that you would, because I think you're going to get such a great wealth of resources from somebody who really cares and is passionate about this for only 50 bucks. So I would love to see you there. Tell your friends. If you would like to join my leaderboard, shoot me a message on Kickstarter and I can get you hooked up so that you can compete for those prizes. Peace.